I'm trying to figure out what's happening with my hair. I don't know. It hasn't decided whether it wants to be straight or it wants to be afro. We are having a situation here, but anyway. How have you been? Hope you've been well. Consa Kijo here. So this is Inspire YG page on Facebook, Inspire YG on Instagram, and Inspire YG on Facebook. So if you haven't yet subscribed, please hit the subscribe button and the bell so that it can sort of prompt you when I post a new video. I do post on my Facebook page as well, and occasionally I do that on Instagram as well. And so, like I say, Konsokijo, I started this page not too long ago, just a couple of years back, maybe 2 or 3 years now. I cannot quite remember. Yeah, I think it's around 3 years now. And the journey started off with me sharing my journey as an international student from Kenya to coming from Kenya to Australia, Sydney to be precise. And I've just had obviously as an international student you go through ups and downs, but I have had a lot of opportunities along the way, and some of which have, not some, all of them have been incredible and amazing, and I've learned a lot. Traveled to a couple of countries and states and met so many wonderful people along the journey, and people who lifted my spirit, people from different nationality, people who don't speak my languages, and yet we linked up and sort of connected on a human level. So like I say, I like to say that Australia is a multicultural country, and it's really like a hot pot of nationalities, you know what I mean? But it's not something that I knew when I was coming here. So yeah, so welcome to Inspire YG. YG means young generation. I look to inspire young people to pursue their goals and their dreams, because that's what I did. So I normally don't talk about things I haven't gone through myself. I speak from lived experience, because I think that's where I draw most of my inspiration from. That said, thank you for joining, and share with your friends as well if this resonates with you. And thank you for coming back, for those who are lovely members and family. Those of you who are family now. So today I just remembered something, and I thought, well, let me pick up my camera and share this, because I just remembered when I planned to come to Australia, and I told one of my friends that I was coming to Australia. The first thing she said was, aren't there universities in Kenya? And I thought, I don't know whether the question was sarcastic or it was actually literal. I don't know. Even today, I don't know. I didn't ask them. But it's sometimes you don't always need reasons to do what your intuition tells you to do. If your spirit tells you, if your spirit is okay, it feels, and you feel at peace within yourself with the decision that you're making, then I think you're good to go. At least for me, that's what I do. I listen to my intuitions, and I listen to how my spirit feels. Something doesn't sit well in my spirit, most often than not, I hesitate, and I do more research. Or I talk to people, or I go on that adventure a little bit more, just to find out, is this really, did I say adventure? No, I mean I dive into the research of what it is I want to do before I now go to it, if it doesn't feel right within my spirit. Now, I had to sit down and just write 5 dot points, so this won't be long. I'm hoping it won't be long, so stick with me. One thing that I wanted to sort of challenge myself, expand my horizon, so challenge myself. And it was more because growing up, like I did 844 system, and if you grew up in Kenya, or the Kenyan system, the way it works, some people do a system which is the public system, is called 844. Pretty much 8 years of primary school, 4 years of high school, and maybe 4 years of uni. That's why it's called 844. But then you also have we have a lot of different kind of curriculums in Kenya, because some students study in schools called group of schools. So you have the British curriculum, you also have American curriculum. So you will meet different people around the world who are from Kenya, but they have different experiences based on the schools they went to. So my experiences with the 844 system was not quite good for the most part. I really don't remember enjoying school in terms of like academic. Sorry, I'm really getting bothered by my hair. Just because I wasn't, I don't think I used to perform well. I mean, I was like a C plus kind of student. I never went to like A's and B pluses and things like that. I did B's with some subject. I was very good with Christian studies. I was very good with business studies, and I was very good with English, the subject. Bit here and there with geography, but sciences were not for me, unfortunately, and mathematics, God help us. But I was always that kid who was always told you're an average child. And for the most part, I grew up believing that I was never above average. And it's actually such a flawed system for a child to have growing up. And that's what I didn't like about the 844 system, because it was like, just, regurgitate, just study, read, regurgitate, cram everything, and then do the exam. And then that makes you an A student. I will just, bear with me. To travel. I love to travel. I love the idea of going outside the country. I had never left Kenya before coming to Australia. So Australia was my first country out of Kenya. So it's quite interesting. Sometimes I meet people and they ask me, have you been to South Africa? Have you been to Nigeria? I've never been to any other part of the continent that is Africa. I've just been born, bred in Kenya. And the first time I left Kenya, I came direct to Australia at 24, 25 years old. So yeah, quite a leap of faith. It was quite a jump that required a lot of faith. But yeah, I like the idea of meeting people from different cultures, people from different walks of life, to learn their way of their way of being and their way of doing. And I think that's one thing that I think Australia has given me, especially because I don't even think in Kenya I had that. We had diversity, and we have that because we have a lot of tribes and, different cultures in Kenya. But what you have in Australia is that and more, because then you have people from probably all over the world. I think all countries in the world has got one person in Australia. I think so. I literally met people from countries I had never heard of prior to coming here. I never heard of Estonia. I never met someone from Estonia. So, it's things like that are exciting about Australia. The other thing was I wanted to study and work at the same time. That's not something that I had a privilege to get in Kenya. I would get internship, but normally you wouldn't get a job, like get a casual job in a big organization and work and study full time as well. It's almost like something that is not there. And actually, most companies that hire people full time, they require you to have credentials. So most often than not, you're forced to study fast, finish your uni, graduate, and then get your qualifications and your papers, and then you look for a job. But in Australia, you can actually work and study at the same time. So there are a lot of jobs that don't require credentials, like university level based or level credentials, university level. And you could still work and study at the same time. That's why you see a lot of students actually don't. You do, as an international student, definitely you can get help from home. It's much better for school fees because school fees is so expensive. But for your day-to-day living expenses, I think you can get part-time jobs and you can foot those for yourself. The fourth point was to have a fair go. Now, actually, this one was probably one of the most important ones, and it's because prior to coming to Australia, the last job I had before I moved, second last job I had before I moved here, I was fired. What would you say? What did you do, Katsa? What did you do? I mean, it's not like I did anything. this particular manager called me at like 8 p.m. in the middle of the night, and he wanted to meet up with me, and he sounded drunk, and I refused. So I said, I don't think it's office hours. I don't think we're going to speak anything office, of anything business or anything to do with work at 8 p.m. So I said, okay, we can talk about this tomorrow. And he just told me, okay, he just hung up, and then he sent me a text message and told me, you're fired. I'm laughing now because at the time I know myself, and I'm very sure even at the time I laughed. But mostly I laugh when I hear things, when things happen to me and they're out of this world or it's unbelievable. But it's also, I mean, laughing requires less energy than crying, so I might as well. But it's that was a big shock of patriarchal, a big shock of that hit. It's almost like a slap on the face to remind me that, hey, watch your steps, woman, this is a patriarchal system. And I've always known that those things happen, it just had never happened to me. So until it happened to me is when I was like, wow. Wow. There's actually a thing like that. So I remember just going back home, I mean, just sleeping there in my bed and just thinking, wow, this is the job I was using to pay my bills, to try and get my foot on the ground in the corporate world, the corporate industry in Kenya. And here I am. I've been fired just like that. And it made me feel like, that power imbalance, between genders, because I can't imagine a woman just calling a guy and just saying you're fired because a guy couldn't. And I'm not saying it doesn't happen, because obviously, it doesn't have to be double standards, but I'm just saying, like, it at that point it was such a hard reality for me to face. I didn't even tell my parents, but I didn't go home. I still wanted to hustle, and I felt like going home was a step back. I wanted to really work on myself, and work towards my independence, and just be a strong woman, and know that I can fight and get everything I want if I worked hard. And even though at the time it wasn't looking like it, I was still determined to go out there and look for jobs with my credentials, because I had gone to college and I had a degree. I had a diploma. So I just felt like, I just felt in Kenya at the time, being a young woman, it wasn't just a fair playing field in corporate Kenya. So yeah, there you go. And I come to Australia, and I just realized that, you know what, here it doesn't matter, you're pink, yellow, brown. Yes, there are other issues around that people face, and I have faced some of those, and I'll talk about them in subsequent videos, or as we go. But at least one thing that I felt this country gave me was that they actually have something that is in Australian national anthem. It talks about giving everybody a fair go, and I do believe that this country has given me that. So if my friend who is a guy goes and applies for a particular job, we're gonna be on the same playing field looking for that job. And I have been in those situations, and I have seen it work for me. So, but that said, what I talk about, I'm talking about my lived experience, which would probably be very different for someone else, but not to reduce anybody else's lived experience. The last point, the last but not least, is support my loved ones, especially my parents, to their retirement. I have always had a dream to give my parents the best life. They probably don't know this unless they watch this video, but I really want to give them a good life. I don't want my parents to be in their late 60s and early 70s, and struggle. I don't want them to. So that's one of my dreams, to just give them the best this life can offer. And that's what I'm working towards. And I'm sure where I am, and the people around me, the associations I have around me, my mentors, my friends, they're just people who want me to win at life, and they have already won at life. So the people around me are people who have succeeded in areas I want to succeed. So I put myself around those kind of people, because I know I am I'm eventually going to get where they are, and they want me to even go beyond that, which is such a blessing. So there you go. Those are my 5 points on why I made that move to come to Australia. At the top of my mind, when someone asked me, "There are universities in Kenya, why are you moving?" Those are my 5 points. So thank you so much for sticking around. I actually wanted this video to be a bit shorter, but if you stick around to the end, I would appreciate. Please leave a comment down below. Let me know whether any of those points resonates with you. If you want me to share about anything at all, feel free to jump on my Facebook page, Inspire YG, or my Instagram, Inspire YG. Leave a message and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. All right? Thank you so much. Have a blessed week, and see you the next time. Bye.